Hello, everybody. I am here. I had to move it up 30 minutes because we had some unexpected things going on that were noisy, and I was trying to get past that moment. So I have my husband working on setting up this little stand thing for me that it's supposed to be really cool. It's supposed to be good for like when you go live and or do a podcast, and you set it, holds your phone or your whatever, and it'll move with you, like if you're moving around doing something. But I told him he's just gonna have to hold the camera for part of it, so that because even if I have that setting off to the side, it's hard to see what you're putting in something if you're not looking up in the pan, right? I've seen people when they've done like made meals on lives, and it's so funny because sometimes they have to adjust their cameras because they're trying to do it by themselves. So I'm trying to figure this stand thing out. But let me just get some stuff moved out of the way here, and I got everything pretty much set up. Alrighty. So how are you doing tonight, Lunch Lady and Just Becca? First ladies to the show. All right. I watched the old patties. My mom used to call them. She always had funny nicknames for things when the grandkids were little. And yeah, kids have never forgotten it. All righty then. Okay. So this light on so we can see what we're doing here to get this position properly. Right. Hello, RC. How are you doing? All right. So, these out. So what I decided to do, everybody, is I decided to let me make sure that my camera's right. So let me get in settings real quick and make sure that my camera's going to be facing back. Okay, good. Yeah, because he's going to be standing. Well, wait a minute. Yeah, it still needs to be facing back. Okay. Sorry, just double checking myself here. Make sure I got the camera set up right. Okay. All right. So, all right, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and have the hubby hold camera. And you're going to stand right over here. I think I'm going to actually use this light. Look through the phone and tell me how does that look better there that way. Yeah, more light. Okay. All right, so I already browned the ground beef up ahead and did all the draining the grease and all that stuff. So I'm going to add that back into a clean pan. Normally you would just leave it in here, but I wanted to get this part out of the way so that I could get right to showing how to prepare the meat. And what I do with the chili is I start the meat, get it all seasoned up, and simmer it for a little bit before I add it into the beans and everything else. So, and what I'm doing here is I'm making a big batch. So part of it will be made in the steamer, and the rest will go in the crock pot over here on the side over here. So, all right. So we are going to be using Lipton's beefy onion soup mix. They have a regular onion soup mix, but I like the beefy onion for certain recipes. If I can get a hold of it, we'll be doing good. All right. So I'll put an envelope of that in there. You can use more if you want. I mean, it's pretty potent. It's got the onion in it already. All right. And then I prefer mild chili powder because chili powder can be pretty potent, but you can use whatever you want. Some people like stuff really warm. I'm not a real warm person. I like things to be mild so that they don't burn my mouth. But you can alternate this recipe by using, like I said, a different kind of, so that should be about good. One of these envelopes, you can make chili at least 3 times with it. So that's a good thing because it goes a long way. Now, while I'm doing that, oh, I'm getting too close here. Just, all right. So, gotta add a little water in here while I'm doing this. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn this on and get it started so I can mix all the seasoning in here. But instead of just pouring your seasoning all into, like a lot of people just throw chili together, they'll put everything in a crock pot or in a pan and just mix it all in. I like to get the meats, the seasoning in the meat and get it cooked and simmered because it gives it a better flavor. I don't know if you've ever ate chili where you take a bite and everything tastes good and then you taste the meat and it's bland. Now this is my seasoning that I use pretty much for everything because it has a lot of everything in it. So instead of having 5 or 6 different seasonings, this has got everything in one and it's natural. It's a really good one. And so I use that on everything. So I usually give this quite a bit. Just do whatever you want, however much you want, and it all cooks down pretty good. So usually I'll go back in after I let this simmer for a little bit, and I will, check and see if the seasoning's good. Taste a little piece of your meat, check it out, make sure it's good to go. Get this all stirred up real good. And what we're gonna do is get the old handy dandy lid, set that on there, and we're gonna let that simmer for a bit, and then probably about maybe 15-20 minutes. And then what I'll do is then I will put the petite diced tomatoes in there and simmer that maybe another 15 minutes. Now, I won't speed things up. We're going to just hang out and do this. But within 30 minutes, I'm usually able to then take the meat mixture and I'll split it between the 2 pans. And then 2 cans of beans. What I use is, I usually use Bush's mild chili beans, but my husband decided to go with Miss Grimes. So, and she doesn't have a mild, right? Just a basic, right? Right. So in the Bushes, which is my preference, they have mild, medium, and hot in the beans. So then you can make your chili however you want it. So I like to use the regular chili beans and then the white chili beans together. Instead, a lot of people put kidney beans in chili. I absolutely cannot stand kidney beans, so I don't do it that way. It's that way. So what we're gonna do is we're, like I said, gonna let this stuff cook in and that soup mix, so the onion and that'll get all nice and soft in there and cook down. So I'm gonna let that do that for a minute right there. And then I'll start dividing everything up. But when it's all said and done, like I said, we'll have the 2 different chili beans, deep diced tomatoes, tomato sauce, and then tomato juice. That way it's enough to make. Now if I don't split it, I'll do the 7-quart crock pot and it'll pretty much, this batch will fill that all up. This is 2 pounds of ground beef. If you want to cut it in half, if it's not, you don't have as much, or you're only feeding a few people, then you can just do half of all of this. So basically what I'm going to be splitting up. So, okay, for now, we will sit and chill and talk, and I'll wait for this to get done, and then I'll cam back up for the next part. Sound good, guys? Bigfoot's looking at me like, how long am I going to be a phone stand? So, okay, so we, yeah. So this is gonna steam, and usually, like I said, doesn't take too awful long. I just like to do it this way. You can just throw everything together if you want. I think seasoning the meat first makes a huge difference in how it tastes in the final countdown, as they call it. So we are going to sit and chill. You guys can tell me what you have done today, or oops, let's not mic do the mic. What is some of your favorite ingredients to put in your own chili if you do make chili? I've over the years changed things a little bit here and there. Preferably like I have, I would say just change, the brand of beans. Back in the day, we all used Miss Grimes. That's a very popular brand up here. Bush's beans, I think they're everywhere. People love them. They're my favorite. There's not a huge difference in beans, but they're kind of like crackers. There's still enough of a difference for you to be able to tell. The texture is usually where the difference is. Um, what was up with the Bush's, Miles? Do they not have them, honey? Or was there a special like sale or something? Yeah, just cheaper. Cheaper's not always better though. All that grease and the full of them sitting in there. And believe it or not, I like whenever I cook my hamburger, I always like drain the grease out. I use one of those ladle spoons with the slits in it, and then I put my what do you call it? Paper towels on a big old plate, uh, and that's how I strain the grease out. And then whenever I threw away, like the wrap from the meat and all that stuff like that, I'll just pour the rest of the little bit of grease that's left over into that. I don't believe in pouring it into. Some people have a grease thing that they hold on to and they cook all their grease in, but I just get rid of mine. And I've never put it down the sink. I've never done it. I've seen people do it. It's not a good idea. But yeah, I just pour it, you know, let it absorb on some paper towels or whatever's in there that I've been using. It's already icky and will absorb it. So the biggest thing about stuff when you're letting something that's seasoned simmer. So now I need to go down to medium low. You gotta do a lot of stirring because I always add a little warm water as I go, just so that it doesn't try to cool. Sometimes the seasoning will, even as much as you stir it, can kind of settle a bit. I often wondered if I should, up the packets, but even when I make meatloaf, when I use the soup mix, um, I usually just use 1 to 2 pounds, so it goes a long way. It's very, it has its own salt content in it, just like pretty much everything does these days, you guys. So, but okay, so we're gonna give that a few more minutes, and then we'll move on to the next step. But right now, I guess we can cam back up, and I'm gonna go ahead. I should go ahead and open these beans up. Go ahead and get them set up in the crock pot. Here. So, one of each. Again, can opener, the noisy can opener, you guys. I remember one time we were on ladies playing a game, and me and her, Maggie, and actually she may not have been on there. It might have been when Maggie was doing a show, but we were making different noises in the house, and then people had to guess what it was, and nobody could figure out what this electric can opener was. It was so funny. So now that you guys know it, if we ever play the game again, you guys will win. You'll know exactly what that number is. Okay. All right, so just came up and then face the crock pot. This is fun, fun, fun. All right, so right over here. So what I do is I just go ahead and put the whole lot in there. Make sure that the juice and all can stay in because it's all in a special chili juice. So got that. Go with the next one. That all in there. So yeah, the beans are in chili sauce. Okay. That goes in there. Stir that up. Mix them all up together. And usually I'll give them a little shot of this too. A little bit, And then basically, the next part will be half of that meat mixture will go in here eventually. And so that's getting good. That's getting good. So we're gonna go ahead and call that good. Turn it down to low. Now I'm gonna pop the diced tomatoes in there. I usually put them in. Okay. We have the runaway can opener. Get that tomato cooked in there really good. And then when I split it between the two containers, it's makes sense. This doesn't make sense though. I got one that's giving me a hard time, guys. Some of them just don't open very good. You always got to be careful because you don't want to, hurt yourself. Okay. Another one down. So, spread that out on there. We'll shakes of that, and we'll stir that up. So now we've got all the seasoning and soup mix and everything's all mixed in. Chili powder's all in there. And so now we're going to do the diced tomatoes. We're going to let them sit. Give those 5 minutes. And then I'll go ahead and start splitting up. I will bring over and give some scoops over to the crock pot. And then once those are the meats in there, then I'll mix the rest of the chili up in this part. This. I suppose I better go ahead and get some tomato sauce too. Here. Sorry, guys, that doggone dog. I'll tell you what. I think I know now why Winnie does hers in the middle of the night because I'm telling you, animals are a lot more quiet at night because they're sleeping. They're just like people. Well, at least most people anyway, not some of us, but are sleeping in the middle of the night. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm up in the middle of the night and I'm out here hanging out. As long as it ain't light out yet and they don't think it's breakfast time, I can usually have no barking going on. It's really nice. It irritates me when they start doing that and you're like trying to do a live. It's like, oh my gosh, come on, guys. Give me a break, please. Okay, I'm gonna put the phone up here so it's away from all the stove and hot stuff, right? Okay. I guess I can go ahead and get these other two cans open too. Everything will be open. It is a little bit easier when I do it in the big crock pot, but it is so big and it takes up so much room. And I usually only use that when I'm doing my each batch for everybody. So for Christmas this year, I decided to do that instead of the whole traditional Christmas meal. Our traditional big Christmas, I call it Christmas lunch, started becoming chili years ago when everybody started getting older and, everybody wasn't coming, living at home anymore. So then you got to try to like make it work, and you can't like have food that you eat up all day long. So I just figured, make some chili. I know all my kids love my chili. So why not make some chili? And then I can serve all sorts of, bowls of chili all throughout the day whenever anybody shows up. Run upstairs and throw a quick cornbread in the oven with it. But yeah, it worked out really well, and it kind of became a tradition. The kids like it. So it's cold, it's winter time, so warm chili, warm soup, any of that stuff is nice in the winter time. Okay. Okay, so we've got that over there. Give this a shake. Okay. This is triple cheddar again. All right. So I used the Kraft triple cheddar, but you can use whatever cheese you want. Some people don't like all the cheddars together. I like the triple cheddar. I use it on almost all my recipes. But I go ahead and I put some of that in the chili, especially in the crock pot version, because it cooks for a long time. So that all melts down in there already. Gives it a nice flavor too. So, all right. I think I'm ready to sit y'all down for a second and put it off here. And I'm gonna turn this off for a moment, and Corey's gonna follow me over here. I'm going to go ahead and add some of this yummy good mixture in here. Always try to figure out my head, try to get it even, but it's not the easiest thing to do because this is definitely the smaller version of. This is one of my. I think this is my 3.5, 3.5, just under a 4/4, somewhere around that crock pot. So I have like 3 different size ones, y'all. That's crazy. Okay, so all right, we're back on there. And then I need a little tomato juice. Oh, goodness, if I can. There we go. She did it. Get a hold of this part. Bad boy. Get some juice in here. Keep it thick, but not too thick, right? Put it down. That's a nice consistency. All right. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna put the lid on this one. And this one I usually let cook 6 to 8 hours. I'll let it simmer in the crock pot for that long. All right, so over here to this side. Whoa. Phone's getting tossed around like a hillbilly. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. My lid went inside. My lid went inside, y'all. In the can. And it already opened. Right. All right. Oh, that's my cameraman temporarily. But one second here and I'll get you guys back. Photo. I had a feeling these dogs are going to give us some trouble. I was hoping not, but oh my word. What can you do? Just like little children. Let me see if I can do this one-handed. Where's my lights? There we go. All right. So then I'm going to add the rest of the tomato sauce that's left over. What I haven't poured in the other one. Get it out of this one. Now you can use all tomato sauce. Some people do. I never even used to use tomato sauce. We used to just use tomato juice, but it does help thicken it up a little bit. It's a little thicker than the tomato juice. So my trash can bag is so full. Okay. Just put them in the back. We're gonna do a timeout because I think that he knows we're doing something and he's purposely being a little turd. Yeah. Yeah, first. That's what my guy's doing. Just need a few more minutes, Milo, and we'll be done with this. And then you can hush. It's really difficult to have to keep being interrupted, but just hang in there with me, guys. I'm sorry. Y'all that have pets know exactly what I'm going through. Okay, so we're back. Back to the pan here. Okay, so here we go. So we're gonna go. I'm gonna put it on medium low while I'm adding stuff in. So basically, this is the rest of the meat mixture with the diced tomatoes, and then I added the rest of the tomato sauce in there. And then I will go ahead and add the last 2 cans of beans. I have 2 cans per serving. If I do the full crock pot, the big ginormous one, then I just do all 4 cans and everything in one crock pot. So the reason why I'm doing it this way, I guess that would be a good way to describe it, is that the crock pot version you can eat the next day. It's all cooked and ready to go. This is a quicker version. It's this where you steam it, right? On this convection top. And then I have my Copperware pan here that's real handy that has a nice steam lid. So we got all that in there. So we're gonna mix all that together, all the beans and everything. And then I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle some of this rest of this triple cheddar in here. I always like to give it a nice. The rest of this bowl was put into the other one on the crock pot. It's in there. That all stirred in too. And then once I get into this stage, then I kind of gauge how much tomato tomato juice I want to add in to get my consistency where we want it. And then we always like to try to get the bigger one because then you can add as you go. Like say you get it all cooked up and you know how you're serving it up and it's, so that you can even out your ingredients throughout the time. So we're going to go ahead and start pouring some of this in here. Get this juiced up a bit here. So how are we doing? How's that look? That's about good right there. So see, we did 2, a crock pot and a whole pan full, and we still have some tomato juice left, like I said, so you can kind of touch up stuff after the fact. You want to add some back in. If it's getting, if it's too thick and you want it a little thinner or you want it to go a little further, however you want to say it. All right, and then usually right before we start steaming, I give it another shot of the good stuff. Like I said, there's a lot of good ingredients in that. You have your salt and pepper, and garlic, salt, onion powder. Your basics that you would cook a lot of soups and casseroles with. So here we go. So, all right. Let's make sure it's all mixed in because you don't want any floating seasoning, right? So, wash that off. That off to the side. And then we will put our lid back on. And basically, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go up to medium. This thing has 3 adjustments you can do. It has 3 different wattages. Right now, I have it on full strength, but you can turn that down and adjust that when you're cooking different things. So I'm going to go in the middle so that it doesn't go crazy on me and boil this to death. But I'll bring it to a boil, and then I'll bring the heat down, probably to about medium low. And then after probably 15-20 minutes, I shut her down and I let it basically what they call boil down, which is just it steams all the way up, gets really hot, and then you let it kind of cook the heat down. You know what I'm saying? So it cools off, but it's cooking still because of how hot it was. So there we go. So that's So that is going to sit there for, I mean, you can do it in 30 minutes. I say 45 minutes steaming. It is very good, and it does taste literally like you had it in a crock pot all day. So that it's fascinating. That's why it's interesting to try it both ways. So usually what ends up happening is I end up using my big bowl and putting all of it together at the, whatever we have left instead of doing multiple. You know, I'm not gonna put a crock pot in the refrigerator. I hate doing that. I've done it before, but I got this big bowl, and last time I think we had the crock pot was full. We had most of the steam pan was gone, um, but we had a little bit of that left, and I just mixed it all together. But we have tasted it both ways just to see, and it's very similar tasting. It's just the time and the way you cook it. So there's that. Right there for a second. Okay. So yeah. But yeah, so the nice thing is, like I said, because you're cooking two different meals. So like maybe one day you want to serve it chili, your basic way of having chili, and maybe say the next day when the kids were younger, what I would do is the next day we'd grill hot dogs, get these big, huge beef hot dogs, and we'd make chili dogs. Or I would make pasta up and we'd make three-way chili where you, instead of using a spaghetti or Italian sauce on your noodles, you pour chili over it. It's really good. And you can top it with cheddar cheese, onions, sour cream, whatever you like. Okay, so there's that. Of course, a little dishes here. I'm done with that. I'm just gonna do some dog food, but I'm gonna wait until after my husband's like, should I get turkey tonight so we can? I'm like, nah, because I mean we've got a really busy day tomorrow, a Christmas party to go to. I have a hair appointment, and then the next morning we're gonna be on the road in Nebraska, so no sense in you know. So I didn't think I was gonna have time to do a big batch of dog food, and I know that Maggie's wanting me to do it a live showing how I make it. And so, in order for me to do that, I just wait until we get back, and I'll probably make some Sunday. Yeah, Sunday for sure, because Saturday we won't be back until almost Sunday. It's quite the drive, but 4 hours, 15, 20, depends on if you're. Yeah, we're not big stoppers. We'll stop quick and we got quick and go. We don't like to. We like to get where we're going. So, um, okay, so yeah, we're on medium right now, and starting to get a little bubbly in the middle here. Just a lot of stirring is good. Make sure everything's moving around and getting mixed together okay. Telling you can't, if you don't have pans with steam lids, they're the key. I'm telling you. I remember back in the day when things would you'd come out and the lid would be practically doing a levitation because it was getting lifted up because there was no way for to vent any of the steam, the pressure. So it'd just be like, excuse me. So that's really nice. They have lids, on the pan sets and different stuff with vents. This is gonna be so good, guys. And two of my suggestions for really good things that go good with a warm bowl of chili. I prefer oyster crackers. There was a time when I didn't have oyster crackers, and my kids loved chili Fritos, and so I crunched those up on top of it with a dollop of sour cream, and my friends really loved it. I felt bad because I forgot to get crackers that day at the store, but I was making everybody chili. It was funny. So that's how I handled that. But on a typical day, a little sour cream, even just a little dash of it, will cool the chili down. and kind of smooth it out a little bit too, and sometimes a little bit easier on the stomach for the tomato in it. For years, I never liked the stewed tomatoes in there. And I finally decided, well, I'll go for the petite guys because they're not so big. And the flavor is really good with them in there. So I deal with it. But I remember when I was younger, my mom would make chili, and I would always tell her not to put the tomatoes in mine. That's silly, right? But yeah, you guys hanging in there? It's hoping um, I might have to do stuff a little later to get on the right schedules for, you know, at least most of my subs anyway. I think are pretty much on the same schedule as the rest of us, but you never know because I've done different times of day. I've done later in the evening. Never really done any super late. No, actually, I think my birthday live we went. So it was like 4:30 in the morning before I fell asleep because I was so exhausted. And Maria was gracious enough to shut it down for me because I sure did fall asleep. Just like for a few minutes too, though. It was funny too because then when I was like, then I was all flustered because I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? That was interesting, that's for sure. Okay. All right, guys. So we've got some chili cooking here. Sorry, over here. And right now we're on medium heat, getting a nice slow boil. So I've got the wattage on this turned down. Like I said, there's 3 settings. So there's a low, medium, and high wattage setting, depending on what you're cooking. And so I'm trying to do, and I had forgotten about this button too. So I was like, oh my gosh, I love this little thing. It's really handy. After I got this one, the New Wave, I saw the one where they have a square one that has 2 burners on it. And I thought, well, I'm not going to be making more than one thing that I would use on this at a time anyway. And since I'm going to be, redoing my kitchen and buying things that are the right, surface top and that, why, get something big and I'm not going to have a lot of room to put, and am I going to use it that much afterwards? This, on the other hand, is small and simple, and it's got a bag. You just throw it right in and you can take it anywhere with you. So it's real convenient. Okay, we're starting to boil. So I'm going to pop the lid back off, turn the heat down now. Like I said, once it comes to a boil, right, you want to steam it slowly. You don't want to over steam it because one time uh, I forgot to turn my heat down. I got distracted with the dogs. I ran outside for a minute, came in here, and oh my gosh. Yeah, because I don't want, you don't want the beans to get too soft and mushy when you steam stuff, it gets soft. So to avoid that, being careful and turn the watts down on this so that it doesn't because these things are really, really efficient to cook with. I think I showed you guys this. Oh my goodness! Hold on a minute. Turn that light on. This other, basically it's my temporary stove, my oven, but it's also a air fryer, a roaster. There's a rotisserie piece that goes in there, and you can do chicken and turkey in there. It does everything. And when they start coming out with all these neat things like this, I was like, well, that's a really good idea because that just takes place of like 3 or 4 appliances and things that a person used to have a toaster, and they might have a toaster oven or you know what I mean. You'd have all these different things for everything, and now, yeah, you can just go with these kinds of cool, all in one deals. So love it. Good stuff. All right. Now the only thing I haven't done yet is plugged my crock pot in because Normally I would cook, I'll plug it in like when I get this one done, and then I'll put that away, you know what I mean? And I'll bring it over. So I will just wait and do this one then. But when I do this one, I do the same thing. I turn it on high, you know what I mean? And let the crock pot get nice and warm. And then when I start to see some bubbling, you know, and you know you're getting a nice, you know, nice heat to it, then I bring it down to low. And then it's a small crock pot. So like my big one I would probably do for, you know, 6 to 8 hours. This one, it'll do it in 4 to 6. Depends on how long you want it to cook, you know. Um, I'm gonna sit here and have a dairy with you guys. We're waiting for the next part of this. Okay, back to what I was saying about a side to go with it for chili. So, and I probably actually could have made that too. I could make some cornbread up real quick to go with it. But okay, so cornbread, very good. Goes really good with chili. Or Texas toast grilled cheese. And if you do Texas toast grilled cheese, I really highly recommend um, using one of the Velveeta slices. They're really good. They melt down good. Um, they have a 3 cheese and a Casablanca, and then your basic Velveeta. So they have like 3 different kinds. And I've mixed them together before, but it's just really good with chili, a grilled cheese. Yeah, now that I think about it, I think I have some cornbread mix. Actually, could make some muffins, but I actually have this steamer, and I don't have it here right now because, like I said, I had cleared some stuff out with the intentions of we were going to do our kitchen quite a long time ago, and so I cleared stuff out of the way, and it's called a turbo cooker, and I want to say I got it. Oh, wow, it was when the twins were little, like 3 or 4 years old. So we're talking a long time ago, over 20 some years ago. But it was this big thing that had come out, right? And it was exciting. You know how they have the commercials and you're watching it and you're like, oh, I wonder if that really works. Um, and so anyway, so here I am thinking, okay, yeah, I'll go ahead now. I'll try it. You know, and it was close to Christmas time. And so I bought it, you know. If I'm the cook of the house, so I gotta have some meat stuff to use. So I got it and it's so cool. So it has this big dome top to it. So it's a steamer, but it also has a rack to it. It also has a cake piece. And you can literally steam cakes in that thing. The chili recipe that I did do in it several times, I used to make my chili in it all the time, is I would make the chili in the bottom, and then you take a muffin pan and you make cornbread muffins. You put them in the muffin pan and you set it on the steam rack right over top of the chili, and it cooks the chili and the cornbread muffins, y'all, at the same time. And all these flavors and tastes like blend. Oh my gosh, it's so amazing. So I totally miss that. It's in storage. Otherwise, I would have showed you guys that. I might have to have him bring it over sometime and make a cake in it and show you guys some really cool stuff. Here you go, hun. Here is all of the cooking garbage. Hello, honey. Oh, here. We've got cans on the run. Looks like we're gonna have to get some more garbage bags soon. Yeah, especially when you start cooking 3 meals a day for a whole lot of folks. Trash goes quickly. From this trash can to the outdoor trash can, and then to another trash can in the truck. All right, there we go. I won't pull that out if I'm going to make a meal. I always wait until I'm ready to, yeah, get everything you can in those trash bags because they have them so flexible now that you can really shove stuff in there. I have a good question for you guys. I'm going to go to low now because it's boiling. Does anybody else love cashews? I'm a cashew person. Um, just wondering if anybody else is into cashews at all. I never really got into walnuts. Peanuts, cashews, occasional almond. But those real hefty nuts, like the walnuts and some of those, I can't do those. Macadamia nuts from Hawaii, those are really good. The only thing I have to say about it is they don't help with make sure you have a lot of water. Fall asleep here. Bigfoot was supposed to be putting my stand together. Hi, Joanne. How you doing, hun? I was prepping chili, and I have half of it going in a steamer, and the other half is in a crock pot. So I was on here just now talking about like sides that go good with chili. You know, the craziest thing about it is even when I'm talking to my girls on the phone, I'm always thinking to myself, I want to just like be able to reach to the phone and hand them like a plate of food or try this. Be like, you know. Don't get tired, Bigfoot. We got a lot to do. I'm going to sing to my husband and see if it'll make him wake up. We do. We have a lot going on. We're getting ready to have the youngins here, his two younger kids, for Christmas break. So we'll have 3 dogs, 2 kiddos, 1 Bigfoot, and Mama. Yes, I'm telling you. Oh my gosh, love it. I have to say though, I am a bean entrepreneur. No, I'm just kidding. But I really do like the Bush's beans. They're my favorite. But back in the day, before Bush's came out with chili beans, they're baked beans. I always did use Mrs. Grimes, so it's all good. But there is a difference in the consistency and the way that their beans are from the 2 companies. There really is. So I'll let it slip this time because he was going for the sale. Yeah, but my recommendation is the Bush's chili beans, and they come in mild, medium, and hot. I do mild. I don't like hot stuff. So, but that's something you can change, and that's the reason why I kind of like theirs too, because they have that option. So it kind of gives you, like, somebody can follow your recipe, but they can choose their bean heat. Sounds funny, right? Which is a good thing, right? Because I mean, everybody loves a recipe, but if you want to put your own twist on it. Now, like I said, back in the day, I always made the traditional chili. I always did it pretty much the same way, but I did start doing the seasoning the meat first and not just pouring ingredients into the actual making of the chili. Because the whole purpose in like simmering and collecting all the flavors in the meat, then when the meat is added to the sauce and the beans and all the other stuff, then as it's cooking out, all that stuff is flowing out of the meat and into, you see what I'm saying? It works really well together. It's like a process, you guys. And anyway, but it's interesting to see the difference in the steamed version because it's like 30 to 45 minutes and you're getting chili that literally tastes like it's been cooked in a crock pot all day. And so I'll do the crock pot. I do the old-fashioned version too. So I've done it in 2 ways. So there's 2 chilies cooking. Just split the ingredients. But like if any of y'all are, live alone or it's just you and your spouse or significant other and you want to cut the recipe down, then you just do half of everything. So it would just be the 2 cans of beans. Like I said, the white chili beans. Back in the day, before they started labeling them chili beans, I started using northern beans. Northern beans and white chili beans, basically the same thing. So I had like way before they came out with white chili beans, which technically, quote unquote speaking, they kind of developed with the idea of making like chicken chili. There's other meat chilies that you can make, and then you would use a white bean with a white sauce compared to a darker bean when you're doing, a tomato version. So basically, I've done that before though. I actually made pork chop chili once, y'all. I made pork chops. We steamed them, baked them in the oven for a long time, got them tender, cut them up into little tiny pieces. White chili beans in there, same ingredients and everything else. Just did it a little different, and it was really good. It really was. So, but yeah. Also, I was thinking, and it wouldn't have to be in the morning that because I can make this recipe anytime. Honey, can I get the lighter, please? I have a really awesome bunch of like breakfast souffles and like real easy, quick to make breakfast, um, easy bakes, just stuff that's really good, that tastes really good. Throw it together real quick, put it in the oven. Nice for like weekends, when kids are out of school, over the holidays, whatever, having, you know. I do remember once though, because it's my mom's recipe, thinking, okay, she makes this, she puts it in the refrigerator, it sits overnight, and you get up the next morning, you bake it, and then voila, you've got this souffle. Well, the funny thing about it is, I was in a rush one time, and I was like, there's got to be a quick version of it. So I look it up, and I find a recipe, and there is. But there's just something different about that sitting up and then it becoming, it's just, yeah. So, the waiting game sometimes pays off on when you're baking things like that. So yeah, I don't know. Um, Pretty much, I'm sure everybody's done dinner time. It's way past dinner time. But like I said, I needed my cameraman for a little bit to help me with part of this. Oh, that looks really weird. The fan, when I have the back of my little fan, it's like a stand for my phone, but that looks so weird with the camera. Like, it's like, what is that? Yeah, yeah. I mean, just changing the meat. It's interesting. I I'm one of those people that I really don't like anybody's chili. It's weird. I think it's just because I'm like so particular about beans and sauces and what my stomach can tolerate. And yeah, I remember one time though when I was really young and I had this childcare position, and I was watching. Probably she was probably right around 2, and the parents worked out of their home, and she started adding all these extra things on besides the childcare. But one of them was she wanted me to make some food one night, and she wanted me to make chili, but the way they make it. I was going to surprise her and make my chili for her. Look, y'all, I almost couldn't do it. This lady had so many different kinds of beans she wanted me to put in that damn chili. I don't know how any human being could ever have consumed that. There was so many beans in it. I was just overwhelmed. I was like, it was hard for me the way that I make chili to make something like that with that many beans in it. I was like, it was like a couple of the beans I don't like, and I was like, I'm gonna have nightmares from all these beans. Not really, but you know what I mean. It was a possibility. I'm just saying. Okay, so I'm giving it a stir right now because we came all the way up to a boil. I was saying to y'all, and now I'm turning it down. I think we're on. Yeah, we're on low. We're on low. Medium low would have been good enough to go down to, but yeah, I think we're 20 minutes so far. You say about 20 minutes has been going. So doing it. It's you. Come up. It's fine. Here we go. So we're getting there, guys. We're getting there. You know, it's really interesting is when you go outside and you come in and someone's cooking, and when you come in, you're like, it's just like the whole aroma catches you as you come in. Oh, so I guess we're doing good right now because the doggos are being quiet. It's a miracle. I better not say anything. Could change in 2 seconds, right? Oh my goodness. Now we have to go and get the van all cleaned out and get it all ready. Get it all like ready, like I say, travel ready. Um, I think we're gonna take the youngest dog with us because he's the one who doesn't do so good by himself. And my 2 older dogs, they do okay. Like we feed them, take them out, and then my daughter will come over at dinner and feed him and take him out, and then we'll be home at bedtime. So they usually do okay. And I have a camera here. I can watch them on the camera and talk to them if I need to. But it's just it's really hard to take them all, especially in the winter when it's so cold out. Um, and sometimes, I feel like animals need a break from people too. You know what I mean? Like they need a break from the chaos. And, we take the youngest guy with us because he's a little turd, but he rides really good in the car. He likes to ride. So we've gotten him used to that because we've gone on multiple road trips. He's been to, where's he been so far? He's been to Nebraska, Michigan. Is that where he's been so far? Just Nebraska, Michigan, right? Yeah. So he's already been on some pretty good road trips, and he does a really good, he does good. He has a nice fluffy dog car seat he sits in, and if we can keep him in it, though, he tends to get in and out of it. Makes me a little nervous, though, because especially when we hit that deer, thank goodness they were all like in a really safe spot, all behind my seat. They were all laying down sleeping. 2 were on a dog bed, and 1 was in a dog car seat. And my oldest dog, he rushed up to the front the minute we hit that. He heard all that noise and all that, like, whatever happened. I was just like, oh my gosh. One minute you're driving along and it's nice and quiet and it's nighttime, and the next minute there's a deer's face looking in your window. Weird. Hey, whoever is in here. Well, we have RC, lunch lady. Just Becca was in here earlier. She may have passed out. Normally I get pretty tired earlier in the evening, or my back will start hurting, and I'll go sit in the heated massage chair and I'll fall asleep, and then I'll wake up and I'll be either sore or, obviously the heat only goes for so long, and then, or I'll get overheated, and then I'll get up and have to do a bunch of stuff, try to get the dog situated, and before you know it, you've been up enough that like then you're awake, and so then it's like, okay, well now I better just find something else to do so I can try to get tired again to go back to sleep. It's weird, and that's usually when I'll look and see, and usually that's when Leanie's popping on, is right when I'm in between. Yeah. So you having dessert before dinner? My husband's trying to eat cheesecake before chili. Now that I don't think I would do. I don't think I would do cream cheese and then chili together. He's like, I can't wait. I'm just saying. I'm glad you have a. He has a stomach that can handle anything. Mine is totally not that. Not at all. Lots of deer here too. Yeah. Oh, they irritate me. We've been lucky. We've drove all over and traveled so many different places, moving kids, moving adults. picking up kids, dropping kids off. We have never ran across any deer like that. Nothing like that's ever happened. So, and hopefully we won't have to go through that again. Because I mean, I felt like almost like traumatized for the longest time. I was so scared the rest of the trip then, because until it got light out, then I felt better. But we were driving like overnight to go to Michigan because we figured that'd be the best time to drive, less traffic on the road. Dogs will be asleep, so they won't be all anxious and wanting to get out of the car as much. And we got there faster. If we would have done a daytime drive, it wouldn't have worked well. And we wanted to get there, early in the day and not get somewhere late at night or wake somebody up in the middle of the night, to, hey, I'm here, let me in. So yeah. So it's been an interesting year, you guys. 2024 has been very interesting. That's all I have to say. I think everybody will remember it one way or the other, for one reason or the other, right? Holy moly. So I don't know. I think we're gonna I don't know if we're gonna give it another attempt to see if we can. Hi, daughter. See if we can get the Christmas tree lights to work. I'm so bummed. I wanted to have them going for the kids. Bigfoot still has to find the stockings because some of their gifts, instead of putting them in gift bags and all that riffraff, I'm going to put them in the stockings this time instead. Instead of regular stocking stuffers, they're going to be more gift stocking stuffers. I think I even have stockings for the dogs, but I think they're buried in storage, like in a drawer that I used to use to store stuff in my old house, and it's wrapped in plastic and everything, so I don't think I'll be able to get to those, but I know the kids' stockings are out for sure. So I remember having them out a couple years back. Boy, that smells good, you guys. I wish there was some way we could get the scent to go through the screen. It's starting to smell like chili up in here. My daughter's probably thinking, yeah, and I just left. Don't worry, I'll have some for you. Bring one of the bowls I've given you before, though. That way I can refill it. I give them the bowls and give them, like food I've made, and then I never see them again. It's funny. So we started buying ones that didn't matter because they always disappeared. That's a whole lot of words together. West Side. You're so funny. Oh, my word. So we're just waiting for this to cook up. And then we'll scoop it up, get it in a bowl, and make it look pretty. But no, I actually got a compliment years ago from a really good friend of mine. I was making chili, and I think it was when the kids were really little, and we had this huge house, and they were way upstairs. All of them were sleeping, and we were down in the basement. And my friend had a karaoke show that he did all the time, so he had all this equipment, and he was staying nearby, but didn't have enough room to store his really tall speakers and sound stuff. So I'd let him store it in my basement. And sometimes we do karaoke and, just goof around during the week. But it became this tradition called Midnight Chili. As I made chili one night and ended up being about midnight by the time we ate it. And like I said, I was out of crackers for some reason. I had no oyster crackers, no saltines. So I had chili cheese Fritos, though. And so I put those on top and then a dollop of sour cream in the middle. And my friend said it was the best looking bowl of chili he'd ever seen. It's funny. We may do, but yeah, that was interesting. Life is short and dessert first day out, right? Oh my goodness. Yes, we still have one barking in the other room. I have no idea what his deal is. He's in a grumpy mood. I'm sure if dogs could figure out a way to eat the stuff, some of the stuff we eat that they can't have, they would definitely do it. I mean, they're not like us. It's like they don't ever get full. I mean, at any time of the day or night, you would give them anything, they would eat all the time if you let them. It's so bizarre. Hey, when you get a chance, check your text message. I thought we said no text messages. No, that's right. We didn't say no text. We said no phone calls during live. Uh, so yeah. So I got all the kids' new winter clothes for while they're here, washed and put away, and coats, mittens, hats washed and bagged up, ready to go for pickup. So other than getting the van cleaned up and ready to go, we should be good. There's this really cool Christmas party at my husband's work tomorrow, but I told him, I said, too bad that couldn't have been the day before we didn't have to go up and get on the road all day. So we won't be drinking much. And you know what? When there's a party and it's free liquor, those are the days when I'll actually find myself drinking some stuff because you don't have, it's, you know what I mean? It's a celebration. But yeah, we probably won't be doing much of that because then we'll be too tired to drive the next day. So we'll just have a few and hang out and then come home and get get ready for the next day. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's like I think it's just under 12 hours from here to the kiddos. And so they have to drive 6.5 hours, about 6 hours to meet us, and we drive 4.5. And then, so it's a really long day for them. By the time they drive to meet us, we pick them up, and then we drive all the way back here. Sometimes, a lot of the times when we can, we'll stop on the way back. And a couple of my daughters used to live down that way on the way back, but they've moved. And we'd sometimes stay overnight or get a room for the night and just rest, let the kids rest, and then head back the next day because that's a lot of driving for everybody for one day. But I don't think we'll do that this time. Um, but in the summer, we did it a little different. Oh, yeah. Well, that was when we dropped them off. But yeah, summer's a little easier because we can go camping and stuff and just go and camp somewhere on the way back, and it's a lot more cheap. It's a lot more reasonable than a hotel. I think I still have credits from an Airbnb I paid a night for, and then I ended up staying with Beachy that night instead, and I still have credits. I need to use that one of these days. Probably before the end of the year too, because what if they're like, oh well, it's a new year. I don't know if they expire or not, but you never know how it can be. And now I'm going to go down to the lowest watts on here and take it down. I think we're about 30 minutes now. And like I said, what I'll do is I'll take this off the stove, set it off to the side for a few, let it calm down a little bit, 'cause, serve scorching hot food. And then I bring the crock pot over, plug it in, and then I usually let it cook overnight. I'll get up early hours of the morning and turn it off, but I'll just have it running on low for a long time. Cook it slowly, right? I feel like it's time to stir again. Let's turn the camera back on. Stir this chili. Yummy. So yummy, guys. So now this thing also has another really cool feature. After it's been on for a long period of time, it will actually turn itself off and cool down. And then also the feature so that your food don't get scorched. So that's really nice. Because one time I got sidetracked and I was like, oh my gosh. Right. And I heard something beeping and I come out here and it was this and it just shut itself off. So I'm going to just assume that it's letting me know that we're good to go, that this food is cooked. So I'm going to set that down, turn this around. I'm going to put it up on top of the oven real quick so that I can. Oh my lord. So don't have a lot of counter space, so I cannot wait to get this kitchen done one of these days here. Boy, it's tricky when you cook stuff in this kitchen. So, and the other nice thing about this thing is it kind of just been cooking something on it for a long period of time, but when you touch it, it's not hot. The surface of it. But I mean, it instantly, like, it's only hot when there's something there. When you take something off of it, it goes right off. It just turns itself off. So that's kind of neat. Right. But yeah, because you know how most stuff, well, if you've had it running, it's a hot number, right? Yeah. Sorry. Wipe it down a little bit. Make sure we got no splatters on here. Okay. I mean, I can feel a little bit of warmth off of it, but if you touch the top of it, you definitely won't burn your hand. So that's a good thing, especially for you got youngins around. Okay, put that back in. I had to move a lot of stuff from this that I normally have sitting over here. I moved all of it over so that we would have more space to do all this. Still got the crock pot over here, guys. All right. Here we go. Boy, everything's heavy when you got a lot of juice and beans in there, isn't it? Crock pot plugged in. So we have the little crock pot here. And we're going to go turn it to high. And like I said, I've turned it on high and get it nice and warm. And then when it cooks down, gets all boiled up and cooks down, then I turn it to low and then let it the rest of the way cook on low overnight. So there we go. And then this is another thing that's interesting. Because my big crock pot lid does not have a steamer on it, but this one does. So that also allows for, heat to vent out, which keeps things from getting so burnt. So just say, like, one night I fell asleep and I woke up and my husband was already in bed and I thought, oh my gosh, the chili's still on. You know how you have those moments like, oh shit. So I'm like, oh my gosh. And I come out here and at least it hadn't burnt. It, around the edges of the top where it was sitting, it was dark. But that was like from the seasoning and stuff that was around there. And I was just so thankful because of that lid. Because it was allowing heat to come out of it. So it wasn't like burning the food inside. So that was nice. I was scared at first because, you just remember, like one time I think at Christmas we were at my daughter's and it was her first time to have Christmas at her house, and this was probably about 10 years ago, and we had all this different food cooking. You know how it is on holidays, and quite a few of the family members there, and it was just chaotic, and all of a sudden we're out in the garage and we're all having a cigarette, and all of a sudden everybody's like, I'm like, the pie! And we all like try to run in at the same time because we knew we had put a pie in and we were all like, it's gonna burn. So that was wild. Yeah. So that was one of those moments from the night with the chili. Because that's what I was worried about. I was like, oh no, I'm gonna burn it all. There we go. All right. So now that'll sit up here and that'll cool down for a little while. Nice, it's boiling still. let that cool down. And then so then you can serve that one right away. It's a quicker version. And then, if you make a bigger batch, you can put the rest in a crock pot and have two different ways. So that is how I make my chili. And if anybody has any questions, wants any of the ingredients or whatever I used, you can always message me in here, and I can write them. I can write them down, put them in there, or I can put them in the community post. But it's just pretty simple. But like I said, the biggest thing that makes a difference in your taste is definitely the preparation of the meat, because the sauce and the tomatoes and the beans, they all cook, their soup, right? They cook well. But the meat, when you eat that part of it, it's I've had chili before where everything looked good, but then it was so bland. So I was like, how do we conquer that? And it's all about that meat. Same when I make spaghetti, do the same thing. I prepare my meat. I do all my seasoning. I do all of it ahead of time. And then I cook it slowly and simmer it before I put the spaghetti sauce together and make the sauce. So that's my little trick. And Lipton has all different kinds of soup mixes. They've got onion mushroom, beefy onion, vegetable. When I do meatloaf, I'll use the onion mushroom. Really gives it a good flavor. And sometimes I've even used that and mixed a beef bouillon, crushed up a beef bouillon cube or two and mixed it in with it to give it a nice beef taste. But yeah. Now I wish I could just serve y'all some chili. I don't know how to make that happen, but virtually. Now tomorrow, not tomorrow, but Saturday, I'll probably do a short live or go live a little bit while we're on the road, especially if we see something really awesome or something. We'll stop and we'll show something like that. But usually when I'm on a road trip, I tend to go live when I'm at a destination finally. And I'll do shorts and little videos and stuff and post those up of what's going on along the way. Because it's hard when, if you're doing a live and you're just driving along, unless you're in an area where there's some really cool things to see. It's just endless road. So we don't want to do that. But yeah. So we've got not too many people watching. It might be, a goofy time right now. But yeah. Okay. Beachy must have fallen asleep. I think I sent her a notification. I did. It's really weird because I get some of mine, but not all of them. I get maybe 2 or 3. And the whole thing is, if you're not on your phone or looking at your phone, you don't always see that. You know what I mean? Unless you're looking at your screen, and then I'll see something pop up. Because a lot of times I'll be watching movies and stuff on YouTube or something like that. So I'm already on there. And then, yeah. You should make Kai a mod. Yes. Hi, Becca. Did I put you to sleep talking about chili? Well, here, actually, I got my camera off. Let me turn my light back on. So this is the steamed version, which is up here in this pan. And it's just cooking down right now, just cooling off. And then I just now plugged in the crock pot, and that's the other part, which this one, like I said, will cook overnight on low. And then this one should be ready to eat here in the next 15 minutes. I'm just letting it cool down so we don't burn our mouths. But yeah, we got some handy dandy oyster crackers here. You gotta have your crackers with chili. I was just saying, Becca, that I should have made some cornbread too. In my little tiny cornbread, I got little miniature loaf pans, and they're just adorable. I want to get one that it's like a sheet, so it's a pan, and it has I think it's 9 of the little loaf squares, and you can make them all in one big pan. But I have them like individual ones. Here, I'll just get them out real quick and show you. But yeah, so they're little mini loaf pans. This. And so yeah, I would make like everybody their own little individual bread. I've made little miniature meatloaves in here, y'all. I've made cornbread. I'm hoping like something in this little pan. How is it? Weird. Yeah. Something must have got thrown away and it spilled over into the. I was like, what's wrong with my little loaf pan? It's got something all over it. Don't know what it is. Interesting. All right. Well, I worked it and it came off, so that's the important thing. Yeah, these are really handy. But they make like a pan and you could put it in a big oven and like it's got all the little tiny squares cut out for the loaf pans for the loaves. A friend of mine, his mom used to she had a whole bunch of them, and I remember helping her make a bunch of banana bread one time. And I was like, oh, those are cool. But then I ended up finding these. And so I just got the individual ones. But yeah, they're cute. I made mini meatloafs in there, so everybody had their own like little meatloaf. Yeah. There we go. So there's that. So yeah, like I was saying just a minute ago, just Becca, I wish I could virtually give everybody a bowl of chili. That'd be a nice little treat, wouldn't it? I'm thinking I'll probably just do a great big crock pot full of chili for Christmas and do a Christmas lunch. I don't know. What time's your mom having Christmas, honey? You know? I know. Wake up, Bigfoot. So usually I think we do Christmas. I think she does everything pretty early. So I might not be able to get away with doing it early, but maybe I'll do it on Christmas Eve instead. That could work. Okay, next thing tomorrow is a super busy day. I know, right? I know. So it's the next 2 days are going to be like that for me, and not the same kind of busy I'm used to, like the crazy busy around here, but it's going to be a combination of that and going out in this freezing cold weather to go do things that I've been putting off, like my hair and yeah, and this Christmas party, which I haven't been to anything like that in ages. So that ought to be interesting, I say. But yeah, I don't know, guys. I'm thinking that my husband's gonna fall asleep before he gets his bowl of chili. He had some cheesecake. Hey, cheesecake. I'm gonna name you cheesecake. Hey, you have a bowl of chili? Yeah. It's cooling off. It should be very soon. This. No, directions. So this is how it sits. And then you push this and then is there like or do you have to plug it into something to get it to move? Trying to figure out the stand, you guys. How does this thing work? How's this work? How do you try to push this thing and make it move? And then it has lighting, just lights right there. And then if you want the light on, there's a certain button you push. Oh, okay. Just has one light. Okay. I don't know. I got this stand, you guys, and I was going to use it when I was on the boat, and I never did end up getting it out and figuring out how to put it together. But it's a podcasting like a live. You put your phone on it, and it moves with you. So like if you're moving around and you need it to hold your phone, you can like film by yourself. And then it has lighting. So if you're in the dark or you're outside, it has lighting. So I had Bigfoot put it together for me, and I was going to set it up while I was doing this because there's going to be times if I'm going to cook stuff, I'm not going to be able to be holding the phone, and there may not be somebody here. So I'm trying to figure it out. So what does it do? Like, I don't know. I'm confused. Slowly turn. So like if I was over here cooking, then if I moved one way or I moved a bowl, it would move with it. Or does it need charged up or something like that? Possibly. I don't know. I can't see what it's doing. I'm tripping. I was looking over there in the dark and I'm like, I don't know if it's moving or not. The light's kind of weird though. Hmm. I don't know, you guys. I got a question. Anybody's in the chat still. Um, if you like coconut, I found some non-dairy coconut creamer and it is amazing. Uh, it's really, really good. Um, and it has a lot less of the stuff you don't need in it. But then last night I was watching a video and I actually found a homemade recipe for creamer. And I was thinking, maybe I'll give it a shot sometime and make it because I already have like all the ingredients to make it. So why not try it? Could be a money saver in the long run, right? It's usually like $4 and change for decent sized creamer nowadays. If you can just make it out of ingredients at home, that'd be cheaper. I know, I think Beachy might have fallen asleep too, Becca. I know she's been more out too. Yeah, creamer, yeah. I mean, I know you're not a big coffee drinker, but if you ever want me to give you the recipe for it, um, it's pretty simple. I was really shocked. Um, it looks so weird looking at that fan. There we go. That's better. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Destiny was in here. She may still be, but she popped in. They were going to come in the other day and they had just been here. And I told them I was going live. And I said, well, come on in and say hi, And for the tour. And then they forgot. They got sidetracked. Yeah. Bigfoot is falling asleep, Becca, as he always does at the table. He ate his dessert before his dinner. The nice thing is, though, I'll have some chili. So when the kiddos come back, I'll have a nice lunch. I'll be able to have, something nice and warm to feed them. And they love the chili. I don't think they've ever complained one time since I've known them since they were little. Anything that I've ever made them. If anything, they used to get mad when they'd go back to mom's because she wouldn't feed them the cool things I would feed them. So they would be like wanting like wraps and special things that she's like, I don't get stuff like that. So it's kind of funny. But even step parents gotta have something special, that you do for little ones. So I used to enjoy doing that stuff. I would like decorate, like if I was making a big breakfast, I'd like take the sausage links and different things for breakfast and like make faces with them and like just fun little things like that, just to get a little chuckle out of them. I thought it was fun. I'd take pictures and send to Dad because he'd be at work and he was missing out. So I would send him stuff like that. That's pretty cool. So we have a lot of photos over the years of the kids eating somewhere or another at a table, whether it be camping at a cabin here somewhere. And there's always these funny pictures. It's funny. So what's everybody else's plans for Christmas? Are you staying home and putting on, having family over and like putting on a Christmas meal, or are you going elsewhere to visit for Christmas? I remember the days when my oldest kids were little, and you're married and you got your husband's family and all their Christmases, then you have your own, and then you got just all these. And I remember by the time we got home that one year, I couldn't even shut the trunk to my car hardly. I was like, look, we're going to be having to stop and buy like a thing for the top because there was, and I was like, I don't know. It was overwhelming, to be honest with you. And I feel like it's not about how many or how much, it's the thought that counts. It's even if you have nothing, that you scribble something nice and pleasant to somebody on a card, or draw them a picture or do something kind. That's a gift in itself, and your time is a gift. So keep that in mind, because a lot of people aren't real big on holidays. Some are. And a lot of the reason why some people turn away from or shy away from it, I believe, is because of the pressure of feeling like you have to give other people things, especially if they get you something. And it can be awkward. And I remember like the first, well, pretty much every Christmas I've spent with my husband's family, I kind of felt awkward because there was times when we didn't have a lot of money, or he may not have been working, and they would buy all these gifts. And in our family, especially once we got to a certain age, the only ones that bought gifts for everybody was the grandparents, because we all had our own Christmases at our own houses where our parents bought us stuff. So we decided to do that because it didn't need to be all that. And I have never been at a family where like everybody bought every single person and everybody's kids something. And he has a big family, and I was like, how are we going to do this? So this year, I've been shopping on Temu a lot. Found some really good deals after all my discounts. And we ordered everybody the same gift because it's something that anybody and everybody could use, and it's really versatile, really cool thing. And I'm just praying they get here in time so we don't have to show up and empty-handed one more Christmas. But I don't know. So it was awkward, and I felt bad, but I told them, I said, there's no way we could ever, like, this is too much. You know what I mean? For me, it was overwhelming because I feel like that some people overdo it too much, and it completely lose sight of what it ever was about to begin with. I don't know. Maybe I'm old fashioned or sentimental, but it's just something about the madness of it makes the spirit of it not so bright, if that makes sense. So don't go mad at Christmas. Just do nice, wonderful, loving, thoughtful things and give people your time. And if you can't afford gifts, don't beat yourself up over it, because it's not about that. So, all right, y'all. Well, I think I'm going to sign off. I think I'm going to pour a bowl of chili real quick, though, to show you the finishing product. So I can get my husband to wake up and eat this wonderful bowl of chili. So let's go with a mug. Put it in a mug instead of a bowl, because these are heavy duty. And when you're dealing with something hot, it's really hard to hold a bowl, if you know what I'm saying, y'all. Because your hands are like, ah. So these big soup mugs with the handles on them are so handy, because then you have, let me show you. If I can push the button right. then you have an actual handle so you don't burn yourself. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and pull this big warm handful of chili down here. Oh, Lord. God, that's heavy, man. I feel like I'm, woo. This is really heavy. I remember one year when I lived in my house out in the country, they weren't real steep stairs, but there was a nice set of stairs there. And I had put this whole crock pot of chili together upstairs, right? To take downstairs because it was going to cook down there because my dining set was downstairs. So it's where I wanted, you know, to cook the food and have it like that's where I was going to serve it. So what I didn't think about was carrying the ingredients down separately and putting it together down there. Instead, I put it all together upstairs, y'all. And then I have this 7-quart crock pot, and I'm thinking, how in the hell am I gonna get down these stairs with a bad back with this heavy ass crock pot, y'all? I'm crazy though. I'm a fighter. I figured out how to do it. But I swear to you, I prayed to God every single step I went down. I was praying that I wouldn't drop that I wouldn't fall, that we both wouldn't fall. So, all right. I wish I had my cameraman still, but here we go, guys. Here we go. See, we've cooled down, so we're not boiling anymore. I'm gonna put this in here. I'll sit you down for just a second so I can hold on to one thing and scoop with another. Oh yeah, smells really good. There we go. Okie dokie. I just need a napkin. A paper towel, let me say correct. Paper towel, please. There. The lid back on. And a couple. Get that out of the bowl. It's just like one thing about chili, don't wear any light colored clothes or anything white if you're cooking it, because when stuff splatters, it splatters. All right. So we're gonna get some cheese back out. I'm making the bowl up real quick, and then I will show you guys what I'm up to here. Okay, so here's the bowl, and I always sprinkle a little triple cheddar on top, and then we've got some crackers here. And like I said, if you have a little sour cream and you want to put a dollop of it in there, it's not bad, but I don't recommend a lot because then it kind of takes over the flavor. We got time to eat chili. Yay, Bigfoot. I thought we want to go take some crackers and a little bowl. That way, serve your own crackers, right? Because we gotta have crackers. Here we go. So there we go. So we've got crackers, and we got a bowl of chili, and we've got a Bigfoot. So there we go. So that's the chili process, y'all. And that one's, let me feel the side of this. See, it's just getting really warm now. But yeah, so it'll take a little while for the crock pot one to go ahead and start boiling, but it will eventually. It just takes a while. That's why instead of just like putting on low and like having to cook, I like to get something up to a certain temperature so that I know that like it's getting its start. And then we go from there to the next step. All right. Just picking up this heavy pan again. No, I'm not picking it up. I'm not picking it up again. I'm going to leave it right here because it's so heavy. It is that. So, oh, shoot. The lid just slid right into the chili. God forbid. Isn't it when you're trying to do something that things just happen like that? Like, For real. Don't you dare do it again. Oh, you guys, I just said that about things spilling and splattering, and yeah, the lid just went for a loop-de-loo inside. Good there. And that splattered on the counter. So that was nice. All right, we're going to take that out of there. Yeah, I'm going to have to. Luckily, most of it went on the underside of the lid instead of the top. There we go. Just put the lid on, and everything will be fine. There we go. So, yeah. Okay. Got it, guys. Don't have a lot of room to work with here, but can't wait to get this kitchen done. That's all I got to say. Because right now, my island that I usually prepare food and stuff on for more space is holding this bad boy, this oven, until the kitchen's finished. So that is the dealio. Yes, it is. Okay. Oh, we can't turn that off. What am I? I'm hitting the wrong button here. Okay. I keep setting things down, and then I got to find them again. Okay, there we go. Found that. I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about when I say moving things around. I was gonna do something real quick. Didn't get a shit the other day when we did the tour. It was daytime, and so this is my little. It's a turtle. It's a lamp, and that's the shell. But that sits there, and the little look through, and then this is one of those oil diffusers. The thing's crazy. It's got all sorts of different colors. I was trying to figure out why it was stuck on a certain color. I turned it on earlier, and you have to keep pushing them to figure it out. Okay, there it goes. Now it's on color changing. I was wondering what was going on with it. It was like frozen on a different color. But yeah, that thing's wild. Does the steam, and you have the little oil diffusers you put in there. Now, see, when I ordered it, stuff looks so much bigger on a picture, guys, when you're ordering stuff. I learned a long time ago on Amazon to learn to check all the measurements of everything now when I order stuff, because I have gotten stuff that it makes you mad, but it makes you laugh, because you're like, that is not what I thought I was getting. It's way smaller than what it's supposed to be, right? Or what you think it is. So that was a little bit smaller than what I thought it was. And then what I really wanted was one of the vase style ones, where it looks like a vase coming up, and they have really big ones like that, right? But they're pretty expensive, and they do a lot bigger of an area. Because a friend of mine, she had one, and the minute you open the door, you could smell it. It smelled so good because it was really pushing it in the air. But this one's okay, but this is a big area, so there's no way that's really doing much good. So I'll turn the light back on. I was just trying to go with that little spot. Well, this one works fine. There we go. So yeah. So there's that. Then I moved all this stuff over here on my little utensil holders. It's crazy. I actually have the window open just a little bit tonight. Oh no. Just a little bit, see. It's chilly though, but I'm smoking by the window, so. And now the lighter's broke. I fixed it, or it fixed itself. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we need need to do like a panel or something soon. I always like it when people come up and hang out with me on there, because it makes it feels like you're not just talking to yourself, even though you're talking to people in chat. You know what I mean? Like I always used to call it the void. But yeah, we'll have to do that. I like that. I like hanging out and giggling with people and having a good time. It's what else is there to do, right? You got to do that. Got to figure it out. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed watching me make chili and maybe give you guys some ideas, you might want to try. Or like I said, if you have any questions, you shoot me a comment after the live. Or what'd she say? Hungry now. Ah, I know, right? I'm afraid to eat chili this late, though. I'll be doomed. I'll be up if I eat anything that's going to make my tummy full right when it's late at night. It never goes well. But now I'm sitting here looking at all this food and thinking about, how you cook everything and then you got to transfer it into another container to put it in the fridge. And I'm thinking to myself, what did I get myself into? I've got to get another big bowl with a lid. I have one big, huge one, and the rest of them are the smaller ones. But I'd rather have one big one than like 10 small ones. Goodness gracious. Love you, honey. Nobody's saying much. Like I said, I like it when, y'all come up on the panel. I haven't had a panel for a little while. Trying to think the last time. It's been a minute. It's time for one. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe, I don't know if I'll be able to sleep tonight or if it's going to be one of those nights where I'm all nervous because there's a bunch of stuff to do and my Christmas tree's still not lighting up and I'm just really bummed. I just was like, please, just light one more Christmas, please. Because it's like if a Christmas tree if it doesn't light up, then it's not the same. It's too dark. You can't even see it, you know? So I hope we can figure it out. Because I don't have time to go get another tree. Nor do we, it's not really in the budget. So I don't know how that's going to pan out. But I'm keeping my fingers crossed. You're funny. I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah, I know we didn't have a call, and then just Becca, and then I'm thinking that Beachy must have passed out herself. Ain't nobody been sleeping very good lately. But yeah, I don't know. Well, I think that I'm going to close this down and have I'm gonna go check on Bigfoot. The bowl, I don't know if the bowl's empty, but he's still asleep. I don't know if he woke up and ate, fell back asleep, but all right. Well, I appreciate everybody coming out and hanging out and watching me make chili and kind of trying to not make it too chaotic. Like I said, it's hard with doggos. I might have to start cooking in the middle of the night just to get through it. I don't know. You never know. But I love you all. Everybody take care and remember, giving your time means more than anything. It's not about what you wrap. It's about what you give from your heart. Y'all take care. Love y'all. Bye.